Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for this segment, we have Sanjana Prabhakar, Product Development Specialist with Nasdaq Investment Intelligence, to discuss performance of the Nasdaq 100 in 2024, what to expect in the year ahead, and the impact of AI optimism. Sanjana, let's kick it off exactly with that. What is the impact of AI? How is it expected to be a tailwind for the market?
Sure, Jill. So after what was a rough start to the year, the Nasdaq 100 is now up 3.4%. And as you mentioned, AI is expected to be a significant tailwind for the markets this year. Last year, my colleagues and I were on Trade Talks, and we spoke about AI optimism and the impact on big tech companies. Most recently, we have seen AI optimism boost chip makers, the outlook for chip makers, leading to a rally in big tech stocks, which has offset some of the headwinds from the rise in 10-year US Treasury yields. And investor sentiment appears to be highly optimistic as we enter this year, which is dubbed as the year of the AI monetization cycle. And last year, while we focused on AI creators, this year we expect the focus to shift to AI adopters. And estimates for AI and cloud spend appear to be conservative. I mean, we are expecting overall AI spend to increase by 20 to 25% in 2024. And that's far outpacing the increase in overall IT budgets. And if you look at this, some of the statistics here, they're quite telling. Global GDP is expected to increase by $7 trillion over a 10-year period due to AI adoption. Private sector spending is expected to increase from $14 billion to $137 billion for the period 2020 to 2024. So that gives you a sense for how game-changing this is. Other things that we are looking out for this year, election results are likely to be a focus as well. And we have historical data suggesting that markets tend to outperform in election years. We have earnings season underway, and tech companies are likely to be a focus as well. Market participants are likely to be encouraged by recent forward 12-month EPS estimates. We're looking at an EPS growth of 15.6% for the Nasdaq 100 versus 5.5% for the S&P, which I think really underscores the strong fundamental underpinnings of the Nasdaq 100. And other things that we're looking out for, we have seen the Federal Reserve recently push back on the timing of rate cuts, which has resulted in some of the initial optimism fading away. We had strong GDP data come in. Most recently, we had Q4 GDP grow at 3.3%, higher than expectations of 2%. So the outlook for the rest of 2022 appears quite optimistic, and that's something that we are looking out for.
And so, Jenna, what's the significance of tracking the percentage of patents that are related to AI companies?
Sure. So this slide here gives you a sense for the overall patent activity of companies in the Nasdaq 100. And we track this to get a sense for how innovative companies are in this space. So if you look at the overall patent activity here, you see 65 companies representing 83% of the index weight filed patents across one or more of 35 areas of disruptive technology. So these are areas of technology such as, natural language processing, big data, cloud computing, and such. And as you can see in the chart here, a significant percentage of patents were filed related to AI and filed by companies in the Nasdaq 100. So these are the purple colored bars that you see. So this gives you a sense for the degree of AI related activity across the constituents of the Nasdaq 100 and the amount of R&D involved. And what it indicates is that the companies are very well positioned to take advantage of this new secular growth driver in AI.
And finally, let's wrap up with comparing the performance of the Nasdaq 100 versus other major market benchmarks.
Sure. So this final slide here that you can see captures the 2023 performance of the Nasdaq 100 versus other broad-based benchmarks and the year-to-date 2024 performance. My colleagues and I were on Trade Talks last year to highlight the stellar performance of the Nasdaq 100. We went into some details into what drove the performance, including big tech surprising to the upside and AI optimism. And if you recall, sentiment heading into 2023 was quite pessimistic with fears of a recession, but that quickly changed to optimism as earnings from big tech came in. And what we wanted to highlight is that much of that optimism from AI is expected to continue to lift markets upwards this year. Companies are increasingly looking at finding ways to monetize AI and integrate AI into their enterprise tools. So you can see the year-to-date performance of the Nasdaq 100 is quite encouraging. It continues to outperform other broad-based benchmarks, including the S&P 500, the Russell 2000, the Nasdaq Next Generation 100, and the Dow Jones Industrial.
All right, Sanjana, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you very much, Jill.